Hi, so after book 1 of the Iliad, now we are going to focus on book 3, 4, and 6. But we have to tell something about book 2. In book 2, Greeks and Trojans get ready for battle, and after invoking the muses to aid his memory, he details the cities that have contributed, so he, Homer, to the Greek cause, the number of troops that each of them contributed, and who leads each contingent. At the end of the list, the poet singles out the bravest of the Achaeans, so of the Greeks, Achilles and Ajax amongst them. So, when Zeus sent a messenger to the Trojan court, telling them of the Greeks' awesome formation, and the Trojans mustered their own troops under the command of Priam's son Hector. The poet then catalogues the Trojan forces. So in book 2, the poet provides also description of two supporting actors, Odysseus and Nestor. So the wise, foresighted advisors who, clarity of mind, will keep always the Achaeans on their course, so through their destiny. So now we are in book 3. In book 3, the Trojan army marches from the city gates and advances to meet the Achaeans. Here we have Paris, the Trojan prince who caused the war by stealing the beautiful Helen from her husband Menelaus, and he challenges the Achaeans to single combat with any of their warriors. When Menelaus steps forward, however, Paris loses heart and shrinks back into the Trojan ranks. So Hector, that's Paris' brother, and so also the leader of the Trojan forces, so chastises Paris for his cowardice, and stung by Hector's insult, Paris finally agrees to duel with Menelaus, declaring that the contest will establish peace between Trojans and Achaeans by deciding once and for all which man shall have Helen as his wife. So at this point, Hector is going to present the terms to Menelaus, and Menelaus accepts. Both armies look forward to end the war. Then as Paris and Menelaus prepare for combat, the goddess Iris, disguised as Hector's sister Laodice, visit Helen in Priam's palace. Iris urged Helen to go to the city gates and witness the battle about to be fought over her. So Iris is the Greek goddess of the rainbow and the messenger of the gods, so used by Zeus to give messages to the mortals. So Helen on the city gates finds the city elders, including Priam. And so Priam asks Helen about the very strong young Achaeans he can see, and she identifies at least Agamemnon, Ajax, and Odysseus. Priam marvels at their strength and splendor, but then leaves the scene because he is unable to bear watching Paris fight to death. So Paris and Menelaus first arm themselves and begin their duel. So neither is able to fell the other at first with the spear. Then Menelaus breaks his hoard, so the second weapon to use over Paris' helmet. He then grabs Paris by the helmet and begins dragging him through the dirt. But Aphrodite, that's an ally of the Trojans, snaps the strap of the helmet so that it breaks off in Menelaus' hands. At this point, Menelaus, frustrated, retrieves his spear and is about to drive it into Paris, when again Aphrodite whisks Paris away to his room in the palace. She summons Helen there too. Helen, after upbraiding Paris for his cowardice, lies down in bed with him. Then we are going back with the scene on the battlefield, and both the Trojans and the Greeks are searching for Paris, who seems to have magically disappeared. Agamemnon insists that Menelaus has won the duel, and he demands Helen back. So then let's see book 4. Meanwhile, the gods engaged in their own duels. Zeus first argues that Menelaus has won the duel, and that the war should end, as the mortal had agreed. But Hera, who has invested much on the Achaean cause, wants nothing less than the complete destruction of Troy. So, in the end, Zeus gives way and sends Athena to the battlefield to rekindle the fighting. Disguised as a Trojan soldier, Athena convinces the archer Pandarus to take aim at Menelaus. Pandarus fires, but Athena, who wants merely to give the Achaeans a pretext for fighting, deflects the arrow so that it only wounds Menelaus. Agamemnon now rallies the Achaean ranks. He meets Nestor, Odysseus, and Diomedes, and spurs them on by challenging their pride or recounting the great deeds of their fathers. Battle breaks out, and now blood flows freely. But none of the major characters is killed or wounded. Odysseus and great Ajax kill a number of minor Trojan figures. The gods also become involved again, with Athena helping the Achaeans and Apollo helping the Trojans. You can see that the gods, and especially these gods, are very present in the fight. The efforts toward the truce have failed. Let's see briefly book 5. In book 5, Athena helps Diomedes. Diomedes is regarded alongside Ajax as one of the best warriors of the Greeks, and it's only behind Achilles in prowess. Diomedes injures Aphrodite and Ares, two gods. So now we are in book 6. With the gods absent, the Achaean forces again overwhelm the Trojans and draw back toward the city. Menelaus considers accepting a ransom in return for the life of Adrestus, a Trojan he has subdued, but Agamemnon persuaded him to kill the man. Nestor senses the Trojans weakening and urges the Achaeans not to bother stripping their fallen enemies of their weapons, but to focus instead on killing as many as possible, while they'll still have the upper hand. The Trojans anticipate downfall, and the soothsayer Helenus urges Hector to return to Troy from the battlefield, to ask his mother, Queen Hecuba, with her noble woman, to pray for mercy at the temple of Athena. So Hector follows his advice and gives his mother and the other women their instruction. He then visits his brother Paris, who has withdrawn from battle, claiming he is too grief-stricken to participate. Hector and Helen heap scorn on Paris for not fighting, and at last he arms himself and returns to battle. So Hector also prepares himself to return, but first visit his wife Andromache. And this is the part that's very interesting about this book, to see the real figure of Hector. He finds nursing their son Astyanax by the walls of the city. As she cradles the child, she anxiously watches the struggle in the plain below. That's why she was there. Andromache, now in the presence of Hector, begs him not to go back, but he insists that he cannot escape his fate. Remember, his fate, he is an hero, whatever it may be. Then, this is a very tender scene. He kisses Astyanax, who, although initially was frightened by the crest of Hector's helmet, then greets his father happily. Hector then departs. Andromache, convinced that he will soon die, begins to mourn his death. Hector meets Paris on his way out of the city, and the brothers prepare to rejoin the battle. So in this part of Book 6, Homer perhaps means to comment on the importance of living nobly and bravely. With such fickle gods controlling human fate, one cannot for sure predict how or when death will come. One can only work to make life meaningful in its own right. So Hector, and the poet uses Hector to do this, explains this notion to his wife Andromache in their famous encounter that took place at the end of Book 6 of the Iliad, illustrating his perception of what the central issue of the battle is: chaos or glory. He knows that his fate is inescapable, but like all Homeric heroes, he feels compelled to live his life in search of his individual glory. This is the hero spirit. This encounter also serves to humanize the great warrior Hector. The audience can relate to him as he races, fearing defeat, to his wife and breaks into a grin at the sight of his beloved infant son. Homer achieves such great pathos, not only with the words of Hector and Andromache, but also with setting and effective detailing. So, the setting is by placing their meeting above the Chian gates, the grand entrance of the city of Troy, where many confrontations have already occurred. Homer elevates Hector and Andromache's love to the level of the rage that pervades the epic. Then the details. As Andromache nurses baby Astyanax, the audience is reminded of the way in which war separates families and especially deprives the innocent. When actor Astley removes his crested helmet upon seeing how it frightens Astyanax, we realize that this great warrior who has just affirmed his glorious aspiration and his iron will to fight, also possesses a tender side. The scene at once relieves the tension heightened by the description of the battle and emphasizes this battle's tragic gravity. So here we stop with this video, and then we will describe other important books of the Iliad in next one. Ciao ragazzi, bye, see you soon.